Hi, I'm Rachel Colomb and this is Just Saying. Today's video is going to be about problems and ways that we can tackle problems. The very first thing we have to do when confronted with a problem is actually assess if it truly even is a problem. And I caution this only because I have observed and I have done myself, basically created a problem for myself where there is none. So the very first port of call is to actually assess and discern, do you actually have a real problem on your hands? The next thing you've got to do is discern if you can do anything about it, either directly or indirectly. Is there anything you can do about the cause of the problem to change the trajectory of the cause, the impact of the cause, and the effect of the cause? Or is there something you can do to change the outcomes that that cause is creating? Now, if it works out that truly, which in most cases there's usually something at least we can do, but if there is truly nothing you can do, then what you want to do is work out, well, how can I best prepare myself for the impact of this problem? When the outcome occurs, how can I best be prepared? Much like a weather event, if we consider, weather events are something we have absolutely no control about. So if you've got a severe weather event coming your way, then, say high winds or something like that, then you go outside and you secure all your loose bits of furniture and stuff like that. You put them in the garage or you bring them into the house, you shut your windows, you take precautions so that you're best able to cope and survive the outcome of the problem. So they're the first things you've got to do. Another thing that's helpful to do is to not adopt the attitude of a victim. Now, it might actually be possible that you are being victimized, but it's not helpful for the problem-solving sort of psychology you need to be consumed by your victimhood. So you basically want to disregard that and just basically, say, this is a problem now, this is a challenge that I've got to overcome in some way. And you don't want to be really highly emotionally triggered. You want to detach from that. And you don't want to be assuming that you're a victim of situations all the time that are problems, because that kind of thinking and high emotions, they interfere with your ability to be really rational and as assertive as you're going to need to be to solve your problem. So I would caution just to be wise with those types of things. So then when you've got the problem and there is something you can do about it or you can prepare, the next thing you've got to be is willing to take action. So you need to be very willing. Some people have problems and they sort of adopt the attitude of, well, there's nothing I can do, and it's just going to happen anyways. There's nothing I can do about it. Well, that means you've got 0% chance of changing the cause or outcome of that problem in your life. Zero chance. So when we're willing to take action when there's a problem, then this in itself creates opportunity and raises our chances at changing the impact in a more positive way of this problem. Indeed, if we're willing to take action and be motivated and assertive, we can avoid outcomes of problems altogether, or we can completely change them. Indeed, there are lots of little things that happen throughout a day where you might have a problem, like you might be missing an ingredient for a meal. So you improvise, and you circumvent that problem. Now, that's not a big problem, whereas indeed some people are facing big problems, financial hardship, unemployment, um, grief, death of a member of the family or friends, or there's all sorts of things. Wars, for people that are around the world in the various places that wars are happening, which is their government and other governments just controlling their lives beyond their control. So there are lots of really big problems that can happen. But whenever there is a problem, if there's nothing you can, truly nothing you can do, then how can you best prepare yourself for the consequences of that problem? Because at least that could minimize the impact of the outcomes. So yeah, be discerning. Have I got a problem? Can I do anything about my problem, either directly or indirectly? Um, can I prepare for the outcomes of this problem, the consequences of this problem, if there's nothing I can do? Be willing, try not to be self-persecutory and position yourself as a victim and be overly emotional about things. You want to be as rational as you possibly can. I find the best thing for a problem is to get pen and paper, or maybe, Word document, or whatever operating system you've got on your computer, and to write down, it's good to sort of shape things. So you have the problem, you might, there's the probable consequences of that problem, and then you might want to write, well, what consequences do you want to have, and how you can work from the consequences you do want to have back towards the problem to making changes in the problem. So it's good to sort of give yourself some sense of direction in this, to guide your thinking and to help you sort of prime your brain to be thinking of the kinds of solutions that you need. Sometimes it's really good to share a problem. Sometimes it's good to talk to someone who's outside of the situation. Sometimes it can be really invaluable to talk to someone who has very different ideas to you, because they're likely to think of things that you're not likely to think of. Sometimes you need to talk to someone who's very similar to you, because you need help with accessing sort of all your own sort of ideas about things, whatever works for you. But don't start thinking that, flat out at the beginning, that there's nothing I can do and it's not going to make a difference anyway, whether that problem is something personal to you or something in the wider world. Because I notice this in the wider world, a lot of people say about a lot of the slippery slopes we're on at the moment, oh, there's nothing we can do except for just submit to the fact that we're going to live in a dystopian nightmare and blah, 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 blah. And as long as people are thinking like that, they're not being assertive and doing anything at all that's going to make a difference. So, and we can all make a difference. The We Are Ready group, in Portugal, that are going to be protesting the Bilderberg group when they meet on the 20th of May. There's a group of people that started with an idea, it's growing, and they're going to do something which is going to make a difference. How much of a difference is it going to make? We'll wait and see. What about, I think it was Holland, where there was the Farmers Party that got seats in the Senate so they can make a difference. They only came into conception 4 years ago. I think it was 2019 that group got together. Are they going to make a big difference? We'll have to wait and see. But you're never going to make a difference at all to anything if you don't take some action. So for sure, things will always stay the way they are. You'll always have those problems if you're not willing to take at least some type of action. So just to recap that, be discerning. Do I have a problem? Identify what the problem is, identify what the cause is, because sometimes when we can identify the cause of a problem is half of the solution. When we can identify the cause, we can go to the root cause and make changes. And sometimes, thankfully, it is as simple as that. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we have to work out making changes to the outcomes that cause is having an effect upon. But you need to be as clear-headed as possible, and you need to have a winning attitude. So, basically crumbling in on yourself, no matter what it is not going to help you. If you're ruminating and you're just worrying continually and not getting about more proactive ways that you can actually help yourself or help the wider world with whatever the problem is, it's not going to be helpful just to ruminate. So You know, if it works out that there's a problem that there's nothing at all you can do, and there's nothing you can do to prepare, so there's absolutely no action that you can take whatsoever in regards to this problem, then I would say don't worry about it. There's no point worrying about problems that you can't do a single thing about at all. It's just going to make you unhappy. It's going to affect your peace of mind. You know, you can be mindful of it. You can be aware. There's nothing wrong with being socially aware and personally aware. But just to ruminate on problems for the sake of it, to worry and upset yourself is not really going to achieve anything. But mainly with problems, whether they're personal problems or problems in the wider world, you scratch the surface, there's usually something you can do. And sometimes that something you can do is deferring the problem. Like sometimes there might be someone else in your life or someone that you're connected with that you can defer a problem to because they might happen to have some specialty or some skill that can work perfectly in that situation. So you want to be open. You want to be open to getting help from other people. If you're used to doing things yourself, you might be confronted with a problem where you need to get help. So, you know, you need to be open to that. And yeah, keep an open mind and try and stay as calm and grounded as possible to best facilitate the best mental state to be assertive and to actually think of solutions. So that's just a quick video tonight on problems, and hopefully that's helpful for people who are experiencing real hardships and problems that for the time being they can't see a solution for. I'm very sorry that you're going through that, and I wish you well, and I hope that some kind of an opportunity opens up for you. Remember that we can create opportunities for ourselves, so sometimes it's just about reaching out to another person. Sometimes you have to reach out when you've got a problem to lots of people, and there might be a lot of people that nothing is gained from it, that you need to reach out to a lot of people, and there might just be one person who just gives you the right advice, pardon me, or helps you in a way that can be invaluable. But try not to be an island. Try not to isolate with your problems and push the world away. I mean, that can be a very depressing way to live, especially if you've got a lot of hardship, to isolate and to not sort of get some help, even if that help is just being able to talk to another human being about what's going on and get it off your chest. So a problem shared is a problem halved in some cases, you know, but you don't want to be sort of a person that's carrying around the burden of all these problems just within yourself. You know, we need to communicate with each other and share these things and lighten the load for each other. And also, if you don't share the problem with anyone, then how can anyone possibly help you if they don't know what's going on? So it's good to communicate and be open. So that's just saying, and that's my ideas, my quick take on problems. I hope that helps you. Cheers.